100% American made. And darn proud of it. The Charlie Kirk Show.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I want to tell you about our partners over at Refy. I just saw them, actually, at the Erica, Megyn Kelly event, which we were just talking about in the break. Apparently, all the women, Jack, are talking about Erica's comment on wanting to have 4 kids. It was I was there. I saw the Refy guys there. They're amazing, amazing patriots, as a matter of fact. So if you have private student loan that is labeled as distressed or defaulted, that others won't touch, Refy is here to help. They provide you with a custom loan payment based on your ability to pay. Refy is not a debt settlement company, and they work with each borrower individually, tailoring each loan to your ability to pay in your specific situation. That's the key. You will not be calling a faceless call center. Refy can reduce your monthly payment and guarantees interest rates under 6%. Ensuring affordability and financial relief. Refy does not care what your credit score is, so that's huge. Bad credit is accepted. You can even skip a payment every 6 months up to 12 times. It's pretty amazing, without penalty. So just call 888-YREFI34, 888-YREFI34, or log on to yrefy.com. That's YREFY.com. Check them out. I'm going to play the clip here. Let's play cut 93. All the women are talking about it. 93.
You told me this in private, but how many kids did you guys want to have?
We wanted to have 4. Yeah. And I was praying to God that I was pregnant when he got murdered.
Oh, wow. I thought of that once. Just like whether it was meant to be or whether we'd get news like that.
I was like, oh, goodness, that would be the ultimate blessing out of this catastrophe. I was praying, both of us were. We were really excited to just expand our family.
Thank God you have the 2.
I know.
Thank God. You know,
boy and girl, I know.
Yeah, it was a powerful moment. You know, I was kind of like side stage, and I just never wanted to bring that type of stuff up with Erica, so it was news to me as well. We're going to welcome back National Radio in 2 seconds. Welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show. Got Jack Posobiec and Blake Neff in studio with me, Andrew Colvet, executive producer of the show. I want to play some clips here from the Russia-Ukraine negotiations. This is Rubio and Yermak, and they are issuing statements after the first round of negotiations. Play cut 90.
So it is in my personal view that we've had probably the most productive and meaningful meeting so far in this entire process since we've been involved in from the beginning. We have a very good work product that was already built on a foundation of input from all the relative parties involved here, and we were able to go through some of those items now, point by point, and I think we've made good progress.
So he's saying it's the most productive and meaningful meeting so far, and that was Andriy Yermak, who's the head of the Ukrainian delegation to Geneva. So those meetings were happening in Geneva. You know what's an interesting piece of this, by the way, is that a lot of people are speculating this 28-point peace plan was actually drafted in Russian because it looks to be
we mentioned that
translated over. But that
I think that's just because when Axios got it, they got it from the Russians, so it's probably in Russian. But my understanding was that and Rubio came out and said this is the U.S.
Yes, he said it
says it right there.
No, he said it was the U.S. version.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What stands out to me about certainly the U.S. plan is they'll complain that it's too pro-Russian, although I would just note, if you're going to oppose a plan that is pro-Russian, I feel you need a plan for, okay, is Ukraine going to win the war? Are we going to go until every Ukrainian is dead so you can feel really morally righteous over their pile of corpses? Are you going to step up to pay for it forever? That should be the question to Europe if they want it to go forever.
Or are you going to deploy your own troops?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you have to ask those questions. Otherwise, you're just demanding that every Ukrainian die for your sake.
Because this has been the issue, right? Is that we keep backfilling when I say we, the West, EU, US, etc., technology, drones, intelligence, etc., but nobody's actually sent troops. And the problem is that you can use those drones, you can hit Russia in the backfield, target energy infrastructure, things like this. But you know what you can't do? Capture and hold terrain. And
Only men can do that.
You need men for that. You just do.
And that would be the biggest escalation of sending actual troops. And at that point,
Which nobody wants
you're
to do.
dangerously close to the big escalation that we never wanted. So what it stands out to me in the U.S. plan is it is a serious bid to say we are attempting to normalize relations with Russia after effectively a 20-year new Cold War with them, if you will.
Here's the question that I think, and I don't know if we mentioned it, there is this question about, and Bannon's brought it up, the security guarantee for Ukraine, right? Is that like an Article 5 guarantee,
Well,
or
plans have NATO
but I wanted
Article
other
5.
Other stuff, though. It's that Russia gets reintegrated into the global economy, so we stop the endless sanctions. That's also why you, frankly, recognize the territorial change, so that there is a set, mutually agreed upon border between the two, instead of what stands out with the European plan is they don't want to acknowledge this. They want to continue that frozen conflict attitude that we had before this war, where, okay, you occupy this land, but we're not acknowledging it, so it's a potential flashpoint whenever we want it to be.
a couple months ago, people were saying when, I remember I went to Alaska when Trump had to sit down with Putin, and Putin came over, and but then it all kind of unraveled after that, and they announced this Budapest thing, but then it never really got off the ground. And a lot of people were saying, hey, and Ukraine really wasn't agreeing to anything at that point. Zelensky came in and it's like, look, we had the meeting, but you didn't agree to it. So people were saying that an armistice might be the only thing possible at that point. So the fact that Ukraine is on board with this, and we are seeing the Russians be on board with this, I think that actually speaks credibility to, or gives credibility to what Rubio is saying, that actually there's a real possibility for a deal here.
Well, and it strikes me, Blake, to your point, is that the only way to have this be a lasting peace is if you officially recognize the ground that Russia has gained in this long bloody war.
At least some portion of it. Maybe there's a counter proposal they can make that cedes some of it back, or something. But
to your point, look, we have to understand that Putin sees this as his legacy. Basically, reverting the errors and the sins of his predecessors in the 90s and when the USSR fell. And so he wants to, at least, you have to give him something, is my read on this. And I think this is a realistic,
to the Kremlin, and say, we did all this and this is what we got.
Well, you got to also understand that Putin is propped up by oligarchs. That's the reason he's able to hold on to powers, because he controls the oligarchs. You have to come back from a war like this and show something tangible. Right. Otherwise, this is going to just continue on forever.
And then the person who comes after Putin is going to be like 10 times worse if he's seen as a failure.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, the glass half full, I think EU rose-colored glasses vision is that they're going to be able to sort of install somebody better.
The fanatics who want this war to go forever, I feel like they're just calculating that Putin will die and then somehow Russia implodes after that. And
I just think
that strikes me as highly risky.
Yeah, the last time that we got rid of the Tsar, we got Lenin.
Think of the most insane Warhawks you've seen in America. They exist in Russia too.
They sure do.
They're more insane, arguably.
Yeah, they're like, let's glass Paris kind of guys.
We have Scott Jennings joining us next. We'll be right back.